All. So as we discussed in earlier class, in today's session we are going to discuss about participants of foreign exchange market. So on the basis of volume of transaction, volume of trade, volume of buying and selling of various other currencies, we can classify foreign exchange market participants into various types. One one major participant is all commercial banks, including ICICI Bank, and HSBC Bank is one of the largest bank which participate in foreign exchange market. Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, that is HSBC, that is involved into various currency dealings. So commercial banks, first of all, first participant in foreign exchange, and moreover this topic they may ask for 5 marks or 15 marks in your SEM exam. So and very important SEM exam topic. So first participant is commercial bank. The major participants in the foreign exchange market are the large commercial banks who provide the core of market. Core of market in the sense they provide platform for conversion of various other currencies. So they do all the fund repatriation, expatriation, etc. Repatriation, expatriation means transferring of funds from one country to another. If Indian company, for example, Infosys intends to invest $1 million in US, so the transferring of fund can be done with the help of commercial banks. So as many as 100 to 200 banks across the globe actively make the market in the foreign exchange. These are the number of commercial banks which actively involve in currency trading. These banks serve their retail clients, the bank customers, in conducting foreign commerce or making international investment in financial assets that require foreign exchange. So if the Infosys is having its bank account in ICICI Bank, then ICICI Bank provides the platform for transferring of fund to various countries. If Infosys intends to transfer 1 million rupee to UK, then ICICI Bank provide platform to transfer these required funds. These banks operate in the foreign exchange market at two levels. At the retail level, they deal with their customers, corporations, exporters, and so forth. So these banks provide platform for retail investment and retail fund transfers. Even if a student comes down to India from UK and he intends to convert his sterling pound to Indian rupee, then these commercial banks provide all these functions. At the wholesale level, banks maintain an inert bank market in foreign exchange either directly or through specialized foreign exchange brokers. So wholesale in the sense they trade in bulk and they deal with huge volume of various countries' currencies. Second, foreign exchange market participants are foreign exchange brokers. Foreign exchange brokers also operate in the international currency market and they never trade their own behalf. They act as an agent who facilitate trading between dealers. Unlike the banks, brokers serve merely as matchmakers and do not put their own money at risk. That means some person, maybe Mr. A, would like to trade in dollar, then he has to approach a broker to buy dollar with selling rupees. So these brokers act as a middleman between those who intends to sell dollar and those who intends to buy dollar. And on behalf of these two traders, broker buys and sells the required currency. Best foreign exchange brokers for 2021, you might not have been heard all these names. These are the brokerage names, brokerage firm names which are operating in various nations. So one is IG, another one is Saxo Bank, CMC Markets, Interactive Brokers, City Index, XTB, Forex.com, eToro, and you can log into Forex.com which gives the mere broad idea about how currencies are being traded. And the third participant in foreign exchange markets are central banks. In our country, RBI, Reserve Bank of India. In US, it is Federal Bank. So these central banks place in foreign market and their role in foreign exchange market for trading of various currencies are prominent. and central banks frequently intervene in the market to maintain the exchange rates of their currencies within a desired range and to smooth fluctuation within that range. The level of the bank's intervention will depend upon the exchange rate regime followed by the given country's central bank. Exchange rate regime means there are two types of regimes. There are two types of foreign exchange regimes. One is fixed exchange rate and another one is floating exchange rate. These two regimes we are going to discuss further in detail in next few classes. And to understand this point, this is what bank's intervention will depend upon the exchange rate regime followed by the given country's central bank. That is, which regime it has to be adopted is decided by the central bank as well as government. So fixed rate in the sense for this financial period 2021 and for the entire financial period, for the entire year, the exchange rate between dollar to rupee will be $1 is equals to 70 rupees. Irrespective of all other economical factors, all other various other factors, the exchange rate between dollar to rupee remains same for entire financial period or financial year. This is called fixed exchange rate regime. And floating exchange rate, on the basis of demand and supply for various currencies, exchange rate between two currency varies, and within the fraction of seconds or within a day or within an hour, it fluctuates between, say for example, this morning 9:30, exchange rate between dollar to rupee, $1 is 71 rupees something. After 11 o'clock, it might reach to rupees 72 per dollar. So this is because of demand and supply factor and various other things. Again, that is very important 15 marks topic. In next few classes we are going to discuss. But please do understand this point. Which regime the country has been adopted is decided by central bank or government. So there are two types of regimes. One is fixed rate regime. Fixed rate regime means for the entire financial period the exchange rate is being determined and it is fixed by central bank and government combinedly. Floating rate means exchange rate between two currency varies on the basis of demand and supply factor of currencies. And fourth participant is multinational companies, MNCs. Multinational companies are those companies which operate in more than one country. So any company which is having its headquarters in one country and which have established various subsidiaries and branches in various other countries can be considered as multinational companies. To set up their branches and subsidiaries, these companies require to transfer funds to various nations. When they are going to transfer funds, they have to convert it to that particular, that respective country's currency. So if Tata Consultancy Services and a software company which would like to establish its subsidiary in Australia, and TCS is headquartered in India and they are having their home currency as rupee. They are earning their profit in rupee, and if they intend to invest in Australia, that rupee has to be converted to Australian dollar. So these multinational companies every day, and even while transferring fund and while earning profit, if the TCS earns profit in Australia, the currency is Australian dollar, then that fund has to be retransferred to India, that is the home country where the TCS has got its headquarters, and again that Australian dollar has to be converted to Indian rupee. So these multinational companies play very major role, and these people trade in bulk in foreign exchange market. So MNCs are the major non-bank participants in the forward market as they exchange cash flows associated with their multinational operations. Cash flows, either investment or profit. And multinational companies often contract to either pay or receive fixed amount in foreign currencies at future dates, so they are exposed to foreign currency risk. So that the future risk we have already discussed, how it impacts to profit of the business, profit of an enterprise, and how it positively or negatively impact on net profit or cash flow of an organization. This is why they often hedge, to cover from risk. Already we have discussed. And one more thing, those who have not comfortable with foreign exchange market functions, what we have discussed in earlier class, many have asked to resend or redraft those slides, which is quite difficult. So in next class, we are going to discuss foreign exchange market functions again with the easy lines. So these multinational companies always hedge with the help of commercial banks. Hedge means to cover the foreign exchange risk. And individuals and small business enterprises. If a small business holder, small entrepreneur exporting something to various other country, again he has to participate in foreign exchange market to convert his cash inflows. So he receives cash flow in various other countries currency where he have exported his manufactured goods. Then to convert it to his home currency or domestic currency, he has to convert all the cash inflows. The foreign currency needs of these players are usually small and account for only a fraction of all foreign exchange transactions, because these individuals or retailers, they require quite small amount of foreign currencies or domestic currency they are going to translate or convert. And speculators. Speculators we have already discussed in one of your earlier subject, that is in 4th sem Indian financial system, it seems. Speculators are those people who anticipate future rise or future fall in share market or foreign exchange market. So these speculators are class of traders that have no genuine requirement for foreign currency. The reason they buy and sell foreign currency is because their future anticipation of sharp rise or fall in any other country's currency. So the difference between the decreased amount and increased amount while converting it to various other countries' currency, the difference amount, it is considered as profit to the speculator. Then arbitrageurs. Arbitration means buying a certain currency or certain commodity for lower rate in one market and selling the same thing in another market for higher rate. So if the US dollar, if an individual trader buys US dollar in Singapore for certain Singapore dollar and sells the same US dollar in Indian market at higher rate, that is called process of arbitration. So arbitration is nothing but buying certain currency in one market for lower rate and selling the same currency in another market for higher rate. The difference will be arbitrageur's gain. And we are going to solve 15 marks problem related to this arbitration. Then the retail market participants. Even in earlier class also we have mentioned that students, medical treatment require medical patients, those people are considered as retail market participants, and even tourists also. So retail market participants include tourist students and patients who are traveling abroad. If any person from Singapore comes down to India for medical treatment, seeking medical treatment, he has to translate his Singapore dollar to Indian rupee. So since he is a Singapore citizen, he is having Singapore dollar with him, and if he intends to pay in Indian rupee and he is seeking medical treatment in TSS Hospital Sirsi, he is having Singapore dollar. TSS Hospital never accepts other countries' currency. So he has to convert his own currency to Indian rupee. So if any person all the way from US would like to study in MES College of Commerce Sirsi, and he is having US dollar with him, that is his home currency, to pay our college fees, he has to convert it to Indian rupee, right? So these people are the retail market participants. Then there are also variety of small business that indulge in foreign trade. They require quite smaller amount of foreign currencies. So these participants only buy or sell currency when they have personal or professional requirement, and dealing with foreign currencies is not a part of their regular business. See, they never trade for profit or loss. They buy and sell foreign currencies as the requirement arises. Even small business people, students, medical patients, tourists, etc. They require small amount of foreign currencies, so that they never trade in foreign currency for profit, the gaining purpose. So in next class, again foreign exchange market functions I have written in simple words. So I have enlisted 5 points. So in next class again you can note down those 3 points: transfer function, credit function and hedging function. If you are not comfortable with that, in next class I am going to simplify those functions into 5 other points. Thank you.